Hey, folks, welcome to the show. Today, we have a very special show because
What show?
Leslie's going to talk about King Tut.
King Tut.
He's my favorite hunky.
And today is November 3rd, and I'm going to give this to Mark to read, and I thought today would be appropriate because...
Why? I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because it's King Tut Day today.
That's right.
Tis it.
This holiday is always observed on November 4th. King Tut Day, a November 4th holiday, celebrates the date of the discovery of Egyptian King Tutankhamun's tomb. I now know how to say that. Over 3,000 years ago, King Tutankhamun became the king of Egypt at the age of 9.
He did not.
When I was telling Mike earlier, when I was a kid on Atari, we had a game that when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and we would play that, and we didn't know any better. We called it Tutankhamun because we didn't know how to pronounce it. So now, whenever I see the name Tutankhamun, I think Tutankhamun.
You can unleash the evil spirit.
In the
pronounce it wrong.
in the Atari game, was there a mummy?
I have no recollection. That was 300 years ago, but I just remember Tutankhamun. That's all I remember about it. Tutankhamun. So that's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
I
So
didn't know that.
take it away, Leslie.
Hi, everyone.
Of course, let us know who Tutankhamun is for folks who have not seen like the Mummy movies and such.
Sure, he was.
You were around when he was reigning, right?
Oh, stop.
He actually was a pharaoh, ancient Egypt. Died young, not really remarkable at all, except his tomb was found pretty much intact. His tomb is questionable. They actually think he died quickly and he was put into someone else's. But the whole story goes back to, in elementary school, our class took a field trip to the Toledo Museum of Art. Mm-hmm. World-renowned museum.
Great.
And this was maybe in the 5th grade. For 5th graders, it was a very limited tour. You don't have a lot of time to keep 5th graders interested, and you can't take their giggling in a gallery that has nudes in it.
Giggling in the gallery.
And,
Giggling in
it's
the
a museum.
galleries.
It's big and echoey, and they want to put their hands on stuff.
And they're watching you all the time, the whole bit. Well, one gallery we were allowed to visit was, as all kids called it, the mummy room.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Because they actually had mummies on display.
Was it always up and to the right, like it is now? Up the stairs and to the right?
Going in the front or the back?
Going in the back.
Going in the back? Yes.
Up and to the right, yeah.
Yes.
I never went in through the front. I always went through the back.
Same here. Yep. Well, at the end of the day, we got to visit the museum's bookstore. The gift shop.
Yep.
And I bought one thing, a small paper-bound book about mummies. Probably 95 cents. I don't know. But I still have it. And their resident mummies were regularly on display until, I don't know, many years ago. But a couple of years ago, they got them out again.
Yes.
And, of course, I had to go visit my old friends. They put them in this very small room with extremely low light.
It was a dark room, essentially. Yeah.
Yes. But I took that opportunity to see them again and test the newly re-released T-Max 3200. Ooh. It was perfect. It really was. So, thus in 5th grade, my love for the life and the art of ancient Egypt bloomed. Of course, with one's love for a subject like this came a few quality coffee table books, some exclusively on the discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb contents, the whole event of discovering it, all those goods, anything I get my hands on. And the images in those books are nothing less than perfection. This is 1922 when this tomb was discovered.
Nosferatu.
You know what? Me of all people. Shame on me. I never went beyond the images to explore the photographer. And my love for photography is even older than my personal Egyptian revival, as we all did during COVID, watching some YouTube one day. And it had a suggested video from Time Life, which Mike and I watch a lot of documentaries on that. They're really very good. Mm-hmm. Timeline, not Time Life, I'm sorry.
Oh, Timeline,
yes. Yes. The name of it was The Photographs That Brought Tutankhamun to Life, the man who shot Tut.
Torn from the darkest tomb of the pharaohs, it rises from the quiet dust of centuries to wreak a strange vengeance against mankind. The Mummy.
It introduced me to Harry Burton, one of the finest archaeological photographers of his time. It was a fascinating way to spend an hour. I was just like folded to it. The documentary is really not only for those who love the event, the discovery of the tomb, but also about him and his equipment, which of course was large format, and the adverse conditions that he shot in, which was the desert essentially.
Yeah.
For those of you that love ASMR, there's some quality large format ASMR in this video.
All right.
What is
now-
ASMR?
Hold on.
That is
I'm awake.
What is ASMR?
Audio.
Auditory something meridian response.
It's when someone reads a book and they turn the page and you hear
the nice crunchy audio bits.
Yes, but he would pull the cover out on his film holder, and it would make that wonderful sound.
What's this on again?
This is Timeline.
Timeline. Is it a network or
YouTube?
Oh, it's a YouTube channel.
I watched it
Okay.
on YouTube.
All right.
The documentary highlights him, not really so much the discovery of the tomb, but the photographer, Harry Burton, and his working relationship with Carter, who was the number one guy that did the exploration, and Lord Carnarvon, who was the guy that financed this, whose castle is the primary filming location of Downton Abbey.
I'm in.
We don't get to see any of that, sorry. And also for you gearheads, this is what made this great. The equipment he used was a Sinclair Ulna, UNA. It was a half-plate camera. So he was shooting plate, 6.5 inch by 4.5 inch, or 121 millimeters by 165. So this was 1922. He'll be 100 years old this November. He added light to these dark chambers. He had to think about, you just didn't haul your electric lights down there. What was there was used for their exploration. So he had to take things like mirrors and things like that to throw back in the shadows to get the lighting that he needed.
Wow.
And it's just, I give this guy just like so much credit. He even had, this is just so cool, he had his own darkroom out there.
We had to. Yeah.
In another tomb. And even though acetate, celluloid type of film was available then,
No, that was all nitrate film, wasn't it?
it could be,
Yeah.
but he felt that glass was superior.
It was until at least the 40s, yeah.
And and then it was. So even though these are all black and white, later they colorized them and made lantern slides out of them for a public lecture and things like that. They are still today extremely valuable research tools due to their resolution and their detail. And really, up until about 2016, they still surpassed any flat imaging captures. Amazed at these facts. He shot not only all over scenes, but he would do close-up works of the finds, and he would also shoot the people involved in the exploration. So he covered it all well. In this documentary, a modern photographer reproduced the process of shooting in those conditions. And this is just like, oh man, this is so cool. One thing he noted was the dust-free glass plates. Burton kept them dust-free. And you get dust from the loading process and that type of thing. And he was loading this stuff in a underground,
Right.
cave essentially, tomb. And this guy was actually unable to keep his negatives as clean as Burton. He set up this temporary darkroom very close to the tomb to load his plates and to process his negatives. Carter had a home a few miles from the site, but that wasn't close enough for Burton. Timing was important. It's been there, 2,000 years? Now timing's a deal. But Carter would not move on with the exploration until the previous day's images were processed and approved. Burton used the nearby tomb of a KV-55, which was an Armenian cache, to locate his temporary darkroom in. It was literally just meters from the Tut entrance. Today it's a closed site. It's only opened with special permission. In 1990, it was surveyed, and they found glass shards in there. And I'm thinking, those befores or afters? Did you drop it while loading or dropped it?
Bad plate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the perfect one. The lighting was great. Oh, dang it. So anyway, and they noted that everything, let's think about this, everything needed to be supplied from a remote location. Not only materials of like boxed plates, those were heavy, but the camera gear, the chemistry, the water, all had to be, everything had to be brought in. I found this timeline episode not only entertaining, but I really gained a great appreciation for Burton and his photographic technical perfection and the pressure that he worked under, you know. So they did do a full shooting with the proper equipment. They processed it in the tomb and reenacted everything, even the setup of the picture that he was duplicating, people that were doing the exploration.
I love that obsessive-compulsive type
Oh,
stuff.
man, yes. And even though, you know, this was Carter's discovery, the images that Burton made were made available to the world.
As they should.
And that began another era of what I call Egyptomania. And if you remember kind of the design of some of that stuff, the lotus blossoms and things like that, started the whole Art Deco movement.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Not to mention the Universal Mummy series.
It walks through bullets like a ghost.
With Brendan Fraser?
Started with Boris Karloff.
Yes,
Who dat?
The
Is
Boris
he Brendan
Karloff.
Fraser's
stop.
father? I'm kidding.
Okay.
Anyway, Burton continued to be a premier archaeological...
I'm older than you are.
Anyway,
Yes.
Burton continued to be a premier archaeological photographer until his death in 1940. If you just like to, if you have the Egyptian bug, if you just have watching how vintage camera equipment was used, all of the above, I think it really is well worth the watch.
While you
And
were
we're-
describing this, I already added it to a playlist. It's already there.
Where can I find this? Sorry.
It's on YouTube.
On YouTube?
YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Check
on the timeline.
this.
Sorry.
Oh, check this out.
Wait, is that an original?
Yes, it is. I found this full plate image of the Great Pyramid at Giza with the Sphinx and three ladies. They look well-to-do on
They
camels, and this had to be, I would bet, after Tut's. The time kind of fits correctly for the plate size.
And what's
No, go ahead.
I was going to say what's really interesting. So at this point, I'm assuming this is from the early 20s.
I'm thinking after Tut's discovery
Yeah. Okay.
to bring in the.
So that would have been mid 20s, mid to late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Because these women are really well to do, and they're not. I mean, I don't know that you can ride English saddle on a camel. My guess is you can't because there's a hump. But like, how scandalous these women are riding! Not except for this one, except for what looks to be the oldest woman.
Give me.
She's sort of riding side saddle, English style, which.
Someone had given me a gift certificate to our local antique mall. Oh God, there's just
Jeffries.
There's Jeffries. There's
Nah,
nothing I
nothing there.
need,
It's all
nothing I
picked
want,
over.
and I saw that picture. This
Gotta
is way
have
too
it.
cool. I'm putting
Gotta have
this,
it.
framing it, and putting it in the Mecca, my studio.
So that picture is from a negative or a glass negative? Where is it? Like,
This is a contact print from a glass negative. You can tell it's glass because it has a rounded chip corner and no registration marks for the.
how many?
Yeah.
How many prints do you think were made?
I have no idea. Well, this would have been private,
Okay.
and it was probably the tour group
Right.
that offered the camels and the
Guides and all
your
that
guides
stuff.
and your handlers and all that. So they probably offered that. I doubt that very many. Oh, maybe each of those ladies got a couple, to take home and that kind of thing.
So this is something that the viewers at home aren't, or the listeners at home aren't going to be able to appreciate as much. But this is such a silver-rich paper
It
that this
is.
is on. Do you see the
Yes.
tarnishing? This looks
Yes.
like this is a silver platter. Now, because this is so well silvered, you could probably rehumidify this very carefully in a room for a while, and then drop it into some selenium toner and really pop this thing back up to its original
Wow.
Would that? So that would. What would that do?
beauty. So you see how it's tarnishing right there?
Right.
That can get rid of some of the tarnish.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
can. There is chemical treatment you can do for that, but it's very risky. But
It is.
It's worth attempting because this stock. I mean, I have never seen, because I came into the printing game really late, a paper that has this much silver
Oh.
in it. Just look,
Oh yes,
at all that.
we called it silvering out.
yeah, but
Makes
that's
it
like
hard unless you know what you're doing. If people bring them in, they want scans of them.
yeah.
There are ways to do it. I have my little secret methods, but
You do the scan and flip and do multiple passes to the light source,
no,
crisscrosses,
nothing
none of
that
that.
hard.
Okay.
No.
Curves.
It is a little easier now, but when I had to do them in camera with film,
Oh, forget it.
you
yeah.
really had to use your little sneaky methods. But I love that print, and
That's a great
you
print.
can take it off. I just put it to fit
And,
into.
like, goes hand in hand with what you're saying. It's so incredibly clean.
Yes.
I mean, if you look at any of mine, Dust City.
in a desert.
My stuff from Joshua Tree, it's got half the desert in it.
And I would imagine the lights that they used were probably gas powered, don't you think?
Oh, probably.
Sure.
What am I thinking? A fuel oil type of light?
Kerosene.
Unless, what if they had generators at the time to generate a little bit of
In
electricity?
Egypt, I doubt it.
That would have been gas powered. It was.
I wonder if it's just candle,
I don't think for the
like the dark room.
maybe the dark room, but I don't think for the actual working itself in the tomb.
Oh, no, not
they
there.
They had lights, but
I just watched Death on the Nile.
did you?
Yeah, so that's
I've been
like
meaning to.
I feel like this could be a still from that. You didn't like it, Mike?
It's like watching a video game.
Okay.
How much?
Oh,
Yeah, it was all CGI.
The shots
pay for it?
were
How
like
much is
video
it worth?
game.
I think that's
I was like, they
probably
shot
worth a
this movie
decent
for-
amount of money.
Hey, where's the crosstalk?
I paid between 25 and 30 for
Well,
it.
I think you got a hell of a deal.
My segment.
between 25 and
I have looked at this thing with a loop.
It's and that's not
It is-
whole plate. That's 8x10, isn't it?
So we're
It's-
talking
I think
about
it's a little
is
shorter.
an 8x10
Yes.
contact print from a glass negative of a very rich tour group that went. What year do you think that was?
I'm going to say it's after Tut, so after 22, but not too far into
It was a
the.
cheeky
no,
thing
glass
to
was
go
used
to
Yes,
standard by
Egypt.
pros international until at least safety film came out.
So this 8x10 you're saying has a lot of silver in it, and you're saying, oh, by what means would who would Leslie send it to refurbish that print?
There's very few places that will recommend chemically refurbishing because it's a very risky process. You can actually lose the image in doing so. But a simple rehydrate and tone could pop it a little bit more, and that's less risky. But it isn't a double weight paper. That is a single weight paper. So it's
It feels
it?
pretty heavy.
Do you think, Leslie? Do you think that print is about
it's
80
double
years
weight. I'm
old?
sorry, it's just really flat.
I would say yes, easily.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
mid
an
to late
older one,
20s.
but I mean, most prints that are even half that age, Mike, they look blue, turquoise from
Yeah.
all the
They can.
tarnishing. Yeah.
Had this been washed longer, we would not have seen it. And most of this came up probably in the first 10 years of its life.
Yeah.
Stuff happens quick and then really
Right.
slows down.
It's too bad there's no names on the back.
But it's a
There was-
gorgeous, gorgeous print.
It's just
So, Leslie, if folks want to
it is.
if folks want to see more about shooting Tutankhamun,
yes.
you're recommending? Is there a documentary on YouTube about that, or was that just a general doco about?
It is a timeline documentary, and it is titled "The Photographs That Brought Tutankhamun to Life."
on the Timeline YouTube channel, so I just
Yes.
checked it from mobile. They're prolific. I can't
Oh,
believe I
yes.
didn't know about
Wonderful
that channel.
things. Yes.
So this was a while ago, but if you go to their page, they also have a really helpful playlists tab. Under playlists, they have one that says photo documentary. There's only one in there, and that's the
And
one.
This is it.
Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
This is great.
We'll be right back.
It sees without eyes, it lives without breath, yet its desires are strangely, madly human. The motion picture screen's most shocking experience in suspense. In chilling Technicolor, The Mummy.
Hey, we're back. I want to thank everyone for joining us. This has been a very special program. King Tut Day,
King Tut.
right? And for
Buried in his jammies.
for the folks who don't know, you could go on, Spotify or YouTube and look up Steve Martin, King Tut. For those of you who do not know that Steve Martin had probably a top 10 hit
It was a big
Yeah.
hit.
in 1977, 78 called King Tut. Check it out. So you can always reach us, podcast at filmphotographyproject.com. And we hope to see everyone soon. Goodbye.
Bye.